Welcome to another episode of Horrible History. I'm at Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. On November 22nd, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was riding in a motorcade right over here when he was assassinated in front of an unsuspecting crowd.
This is one of the big ones. By 1963, the United States was facing a lot of stress. The Cold War with the Soviet Union was pushing the world towards nuclear conflict. The botched Bay of Pigs embarrassed the United States on the global stage and caused fractures within it. The war in Vietnam was beginning to escalate and take shape. Internally, United States law enforcement was cracking down on organized crime. And at the center of all of this was President John F. Kennedy. Now, what happened on a fateful day in November of 1963 would shock the country and change history forever. But it didn't just change history. It changed the way that people understood the truth. The official story didn't sit right with many people, and that doubt began to spread. For many, this moment became the birth of modern conspiracy theory culture. A shift where people stopped accepting the narrative and started questioning everything. And it all leads back to one place, Dallas, Texas. So I went there to see where it all happened. And this is what I found.
Dallas, Texas, where it all happened. Just a short drive into the city and a short walk to an ordinary plaza. I moved through the whole area and wanted to take it in as a spectator. From the book depository, down the sidewalk, through the pergola, to the grassy knoll. It's all right here. Everything felt closer than I expected. About 265 feet, over 8 seconds. I expected such a bigger place for such a large public tragedy. Okay, so we're out here in Dealey Plaza, and it's kind of crazy how pedestrian it looks out here of such a historical site. You just have regular cars and the everyday traffic going in and out of this area, and all they gave him was this X right here where he was fatally shot, and you have an X right up here where he was shot in the neck. And those are the only two that struck him. They don't know what happened to the first shot. They don't know if it hit him or was deflected. They don't know what happened to that first one, but there was 3 shots that were fired from, they say, that book depository window up there on the 6th floor. But many other people suspect it came from the grassy knoll right here. So this is the famous grassy knoll. I'm standing on it right now. There's lots of cars that drive through here and go straight through that tunnel over there. But this is the famous grassy knoll, and this one makes the most sense of where the shots could have came from. I have a clear line of vision to both of the X's where the shots hit John F. Kennedy. And what's crazy to me though is this seems so in the open, and there were people standing all through here. So I don't know how somebody couldn't have seen the shooter or shooters. I don't know if they were over here and what people saw, but people definitely heard shots coming from this area. It was time to get a closer look at the infamous Texas School Book Depository. Now this is the famous Texas School Book Depository where Lee Harvey Oswald worked. That's why they think he was the lone gunman up in the 6th floor. Up there they found a sniper's perch up on that 6th floor where they think he took all of those shots. I don't know if I believe that just because of the trajectories and where the bullet traveled and all of that, but they turned this place into a museum now. It's not open right now, but I'm gonna try to get in here. I never got into that school book depository. So I'm outside the museum. They put this plaque naming it the former Texas School Book Depository, and this kind of just tells you what this building was and that it's a historic landmark now. And you can see that even they believe that he allegedly shot President John F. Kennedy. So sounds like a lot of people have their doubts about the official narrative.
November 22nd, 1963, Dealey Plaza. This is where history changed. 11:55 a.m. The presidential motorcade drives down Main Street toward Dealey Plaza. 12:29 p.m. They turned right down Houston Street. 12:30 p.m. The motorcade makes a hard left onto Elm Street. 3 shots are fired, striking the president and Governor Connolly seated in front of him. The motorcade takes off for the hospital. 12:36 p.m., roughly 4 miles away, President Kennedy arrives at Parkland Memorial Hospital. Surgeons work to save the president's life. 1 p.m., John F. Kennedy is pronounced dead. 1:15 p.m., Lee Harvey Oswald is reported to have killed Officer J.D. Tippit. 1:45 p.m., 15 officers surround the Texas Theater where Oswald is hiding. 1:51 p.m., Lee Harvey Oswald is arrested. 2:38 p.m., Lyndon B. Johnson is sworn in on Air Force One. November 24th, 11:21 a.m., Oswald is shot during a televised transport by Jack Ruby. And just like that, whatever we knew went with him.
Now, being here in Dealey Plaza, it definitely brings up a lot of different feelings about what happened to JFK. I have my own suspicions because of things that don't add up with the official narrative, like bullet trajectories and what people heard and what you see in the videos. And there were plenty of people who had motivations to try to take out John F. Kennedy. There was the mob who were afraid that he was going to break up their crime syndicate. There was the military-industrial complex who wanted to keep Vietnam War going to make money. There was also the CIA who they were going to be broken up because of the Bay of Pigs and the Cuban Missile Crisis, and John F. Kennedy wasn't really happy with their work. But Lee Harvey Oswald, I don't really understand why he would have motivations to take him out. Unless it was a PSYOP or part of MK Ultra or something, but I have no idea why he would.
A busy intersection, a couple of X's, and a lot of unanswered questions. It was time to leave this historical site.
Spending time here in Dealey Plaza definitely gives me a greater appreciation for some of the conspiracy theories and doubts of the official narrative. I understand now. I see why people don't believe what the Warren Commission said. But I wanted to come here and pay my respects. It's kind of disarming how pedestrian this place is and how everybody just goes about their day when such a huge tragedy happened right here to one of our presidents. But until next time, rest in peace, John F. Kennedy, and this was an eye-opening experience.
Dealey Plaza, the book depository, the grassy knoll. The plaza itself felt like a roadside attraction. It didn't carry the reverence that I thought such a historical site would have. Watching the recordings, I still don't know what to believe about the trajectory of the bullets. Based on the injuries to the governor who was sitting in front of the president, it seems that the bullets came from behind and from an elevated position, which would be the book depository. But the entry and exit wounds and the movement of the president's head looks like the shooter would be in front of the motorcade, like from the grassy knoll. Now look, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but... So this is a diagram of Dealey Plaza, and I just wanted to go over some of the theories on where the shots came from that day. Now the official narrative is that the shots came from the Texas School Book Depository, 6th floor. Now, as you can see, this is an elevated position behind the motorcade,
which makes sense and is in line with the trajectory of shots that would hit the president and then the governor sitting in front of him. This is from the Warren Commission. Now, some people didn't experience it that way. Some people thought they heard shots coming from the grassy knoll. As you can see, this is a clear line of sight to the motorcade, but it's also in front of the president. And this is a diagram of the seating position of President Kennedy and Governor Connally. And as you can see, they say that a bullet came, hit Kennedy in the back, came out his throat, hit the governor in the back, broke a rib, came out, hit his wrist, and then ended up landing in his thigh. Now that trajectory makes sense with a shot from the school book depository, but that bullet did a lot of things, and this is where the whole idea of the magic bullet comes from. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but this is where people start questioning the official narrative.
I also understand there were many unreliable witnesses during such a tragedy, which makes it hard to get a straight narrative. The other thing that's really strange is that the only suspect is killed before he's ever tried or has a chance to speak. That just seems a little too suspicious. This is also one of the first recorded tragedies to be distributed to the public and cast doubt on the official narrative and the government's investigation. If they could be lying about this, what else could they be hiding? This created a collective conspiracy theory culture that carries on to this day. I stood where it all happened, and I still don't feel any closer to the truth. Thank you so much for watching this video on JFK and Dealey Plaza. If you liked the video, hit the like and subscribe. If you didn't, thank you so much for watching this long. Tell me what you think the truth is, or some of your theories on who could have been behind it. This has been the assassination of John F. Kennedy on Horrible History.